Hello and welcome. So, I'm the person that loves her flower prints, and I love wearing all the historical or vintage fashion. And there is one type of fashion that I found that suited me the most, that incorporated two of my favorite things: flowers and vintage or historical fashion. And if you can't tell, it is a Tyrolean fashion. What I found about the Tyrolean fashion is the knitwear that it inspired. Tyrolean fashion refers to the Tyrol region that is located in the Italian and Austrian Alps. They got inspired by all the vests that people of the region would wear, their traditional costumes. And after that, loads of vintage patterns came through. So I got hooked because it was two of my favorite things: flowers and vintage or historical fashion. If we're talking about the actual traditional clothing that people would wear, I would love to recreate some of these things. But for now, one of the things that I can definitely recreate and I love doing is the vintage knitwear. I just wanted to knit a vest. The next part was the more, I guess, complex one, is to figure out how to knit all of this. Let's start our knitting journey. I've decided to start knitting from the back of the vest. As you can see, this is the fast forward version where it looks like it's quite fast, but it was still fast enough. A lot more faster than done on hands. I am basically going back and forth between my pattern because now there is a section where the decreases are starting for the creation of the armholes. And I found out that there was a big issue there that I explained later on. It went very smoothly at the end after I figure out the calculations. I also wanted to show how it actually looks in real time, and this is the process of me decreasing these armholes that I was explaining and showing you previously. As you can see, it is not very fast at all. It is very time consuming, and this is kind of a video to show to people that say that knitting on a knitting machine is kind of like cheating, or you're not actually knitting anything. You're still doing all of these processes yourself. You're decreasing everything one by one, stitch by stitch, and it is very time consuming, and it is very exciting actually doing these things. As you can see, whilst I was talking, I have probably decreased like maybe only 2 stitches, which is the same amount it takes to do it by hand too when you're knitting on your actual needles. And this is what it looks like when you're fast forwarded. It looks a lot more faster and smoother. And we finally came to the point of casting off. Here's the fast forward version of me doing this, but I can assure you it was definitely a lot longer than whatever you're seeing right now. It was quite exciting though to do. And we're done with the back of the vest. I think it turned out fantastic. I am very excited to continue knitting more of this. I've already done already done the back, and it took me not long, less than an hour. I was going a bit slow. There were a couple of hiccups on the way because I didn't calculate it right. As you know, I'm doing my own gauge, so I had to recalculate all the instructions to the gauge that I have. Even the rows I had to like change because I have 10 rows per inch, whereas for the pattern it's like 7 rows per inch. Well, I made the back. It doesn't look like anything. It looks like, you know, straight piece, but you can actually see that I made the armhole shaping, and then obviously this is the back top bit where you have the neck. The calculating bit I had to like do it 3 times, and even still I done a mistake. But you know, when you don't visualize it, like the actual project, you don't really realize that. For example, you know, there were 2 decreases, right, happening at the same time. Like you got to do decrease in one row and then on the other side decrease. Well, I didn't realize that. I forgot that there were, you know, 2 armholes because it's the back. So I was like, you know what, I could do decreases every other row. Well, what happens when you do decreases every other row is, you know, you do decrease on one side of the arm, you move it onto the other side of the arm, you don't do a decrease there, then you move it to the other one that you already did the decreases, so you basically decrease all the time on one armhole and not the other. Well, that doesn't work, is it? Well, the first time this is quite good, and also the fact that I've used like I haven't even used 1 ball yet of the yarn that I have. We are rocking this. That means I will hopefully reduce the amount of stash yarn I have, and this is a great project for it. And also the fact that this is my first vintage pattern and I had to recalculate a lot of things, especially when you do it on the knitting machine. You understand it a lot more, how everything is like structured and what you're supposed to do. And now the easy part, well, now actually the hard part, because I need to finish recalculating the front piece, which is just one, you know, and then the other one's going to be mirrored. So you just got to do the opposite on this one. So I guess I should write 2 instructions, which I probably will, because I need super clear instructions for me not to do any mistakes. When there were like multiple row stuff happening, like I had to actually like write stuff down and tick stuff. Oh, this row is done. So the best thing is to always write it down, and I did that. These are gibberish if you're not me. Everything. Cool little nod to the project that I'm doing. Not gonna explain what this is. This is just for my visualization of how it should look. This is literally yeah, I'm not gonna say any more about the project because you'll see in the future. It's quite fun. Yeah, that was like one day when I just went crazy. I can literally finish this project in a week instead of like knitting it for ages, and probably would have finished it in a month. But knitting machine, it is so fun to use this. It is so fun. I love it. I also loved like at the beginning I had a bit of a struggle of like casting on and off when I did it, like at the beginning of like some months ago when I just started with my knitting machine. Now I got the hang of it. I actually also read the instruction manual of this knitting machine. It's actually clearer than watching some videos. Good thing I've done that. I think I just need to do that sometimes, you know, read the manuals of the things that, you know, of the machines that I have, instead of just being like, you know what, I'm gonna wing it. Because it doesn't work like that. Sometimes you just want to knit something super fast, like another vest, because I just want another vest for my summer adventures, and it's still summer and I don't want to like spend a whole month or maybe even 2 knitting a summer vest, and then boom, autumn comes and you can't even wear it. But to be fair, I feel like this autumn we're gonna have a lot of sun, because right now we're having a lot of rain. That was all. I've talked to you too much because I'm procrastinating and I need to go and do some calculations. I wasn't a fan of doing the calculations. Sorry for the backlighting. Probably awful, but whatever. I am actually a photographer and I know all of these things and I shouldn't do that, but I just wanted to show you my knitting machine. After knitting the back, I've started casting on the stitches for one of the sides of the vest. As you can see, here's the process of me doing that. Again, it took me a little bit longer time that you see in the fast forward version. The front of the vest was different to the back because when I was knitting the back, I actually started decreases only at the armholes, whereas for the front of the vest, I had to start decreasing right after I have casted on the stitches. So as you can see, it took me a lot longer time to knit the fronts just because there was a lot of back and forth trying to figure out my calculations that I have not written correctly. And in the fast forward it looks very fast, but actually I had to take my time not to mix up any decreases or increases. I was also taking notes of when I was decreasing and increasing, so as you can see, I am doing a bit of calculations there too. And here's me decreasing for the armholes on one side, and it is taking a bit of time, but I really enjoyed knitting these and just figuring out how the construction of the garment looks and works. And I think finally it turned out great. Please enjoy some knitting ASMR. After finishing knitting the main body, I've started working on shaping the armholes. For the front sides, there is only one armhole shaping, not the same as for the back where there were two armhole shapings done at the same time. That made my life a bit more easier because I didn't have to think what was happening on the other side of the garment. Please enjoy the slow moments of me decreasing for the armhole shaping. After finishing the shaping of the armhole, I've started working on the creation of the neckline and decreasing for the shoulder seams. At the same time, when I was doing the shaping for the shoulder seams, I also had to cast off the stitches that I had on my knitting machine. And here is the process of me of casting off these stitches. And we are done knitting the first side of the vest. For the second side, I worked the same way as for the first one, so I didn't have to show the same process over and over again, but it did take me some time. I made 2 pieces now. So this is, I'm not sure which one's which. This one's second attempt, which obviously looks a lot better. It was a lot faster than the first one because I made a couple of mistakes. So this is the front piece. And this is the first one. As you can see, there is a bit of like tension situation happening. Not the best. But I'm either gonna redo this, which I'm not 100% in want of redoing this one per se, but the second one definitely turned out a lot better. Or is it too visible and I actually need to fix this? I will decide, because literally I made these, maybe the first one maybe in an hour or more, and the second one is probably less than 20 minutes. I mean, it literally flew off. This is why you should make your, like, you should at least make a swatch or something when you're making it. So maybe I should just redo this one just because it was kind of like a swatch. But it looks okay for now. Obviously needs a block. Maybe because this is bamboo and cotton, I might press it instead. So this is the armhole. It looks a bit big, but okay. There's this neck, and then at the bottom it's a bit of an interesting, so it's not just a straight edge, it's somewhat of like a rounded edge, which is nice because it's going to be crocheted. And what I'm thinking is I'm going to crochet this. Is this the correct one? Yes. I'm going to crochet this maybe with like green yarn if I find some. I had some Filcolana Pernilla, but I don't know where it is. It might be under my bed because that's where I have everything. 2 front pieces are done, which is, wow, I literally love machine knitting now. Like, you probably saw it was like shoo, 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 shoo. You don't have to like think a lot except, you know, recalculating stuff. I tried it on kinda on myself and it looks okay. Like, it doesn't look big or it doesn't look small. This is like my biggest concern. Now I'm gonna think whether I wanna redo the right side or keep it that way. But I feel like I should redo this just because it literally took me like 20 minutes, so I can realistically do it. So now I understand why people prefer knitting on a knitting machine sometimes. Very happy that I actually decided to tackle this. And you know what? Vintage patterns are not that hard, especially when it's simple decreases, increases, and recalculating works. Because I didn't like how the first side that I knitted looked, because there was a bit of tense knitting going on, so I've decided to redo that side. Because I'm knitting on a knitting machine, it wasn't very hard for me to do, and actually the third time that I was knitting the side, it took me a lot faster because I already knew that I was doing. Here's the final look of the knitted vest that I have connected all the pieces to. You can see that I also done the crochet around the edges, and I've decided to separate this knit tutorial / video of me knitting the Tyrolean inspired vest into actually 3 parts. instead of 2, just because there is a bit more things going on in the third part of me actually making it look even cuter and more Tyrolean. But if you don't like any flowers, you can actually just finish it in this way, because it still looks cute, just needs a bit of a press, and it is done. Thank you everyone for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video, where I will be showing you the final decoration of this vest in cute flowers, and I hope you like it. I actually am now wearing this vest all the time. It is one of my favorite creations ever. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!